welcome to the Improv Summit. As always, I'm your host, Spencer. With me today, I have a very special guest, and I always say I have a very special guest, but I like to change it up. Taking the person's first letter of their first name and adding an adjective in front of it because that always changes it up and makes it fun. So today I have with me Dazzling Dylan. Hey, Dylan, how's it going?
Dazzlingly.
Hey,
It's
that's
going
the
good.
word now. Good. So, just knocked my computer. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it in there.
Great,
Just knocked my computer. I was so excited. You just dazzled me so much that I
great stuff.
had to knock my computer over. I was so excited. I was like, let's just dive in, and then my computer decided to take a dive. Let's just dive in, shall we? We're here to talk about improv. So let's talk about you and your improv experience. What is your experience with improv?
I started doing improv in high school. I was on the forensics team in Kentucky. I'm from Kentucky, and the forensics is a speech team, not like forensic science.
It
And
could be.
it could be.
It
It
could be.
could
You
be.
could also do a speech about forensics.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure people have done some very on the nose speeches.
And I think by forensics, correct me if I'm wrong, you're generally speaking like speech and debate, which is what a lot of people also refer to it as.
Yeah, speech and debate. But they have like the speech and debate part, and they have like they call them like the theatrical events that are more like dramatic and humorous and stuff like that. And I did most of that. I only did a few debate events. I did what's it called? Student Congress one time, and because my teammates needed an extra person, and all I did was give really bad speeches to block. So student Congress is actually pretty fun because it's, you just get to be a jerk. If you're not good at it, then your teammates just say, hey, we need you to come and give some BS speeches to like block other teams from giving speeches. And I was like, I can stand up there and talk about nothing for 45 seconds. Why not?
Expert challenge.
Anyway, yeah, it makes for a challenge. And I'm very competitive, so I was very competitive. So I enjoyed screwing people over. Um,
Great.
I'm a nicer guy now. Um, but I mostly did the dramatic events, and I did improv. So I did improv in high school. My teammate and I were very competitive. We won 2 state championships. And I also coached the improv teams my junior and senior year. And then I had my improv troupe in college, which I co-started, called Iron Buffalo. And I have 2 acting degrees, so that's also my improv experience, and also the reason why I can't get a job anywhere.
Tell me about it. I have a degree. I have a master's degree in film production, so that's always exciting. My bachelor's is a useful degree, but my
Yeah.
master's is film production. So the most useful thing is that I just get to spend a lot of money on debt.
Yep.
Uh,
You can get
Cover
some
that.
unpaid internships, surely.
Of course, it's also all from Florida, so what can I do? Um, yeah, so that's always fun. Cool. Yeah. So, what's that? What is your favorite thing about improv? What keeps you? What has had you do improv this whole time? What keeps you coming back to doing more improv?
Um, I've always liked improv because it forces. I mean, you have to be really listening and really acting and reacting in the moment. My teammate in high school, I lived in Danville. I was from Danville, Kentucky, and my teammate said one day, he said, "My parents live in Danville, Kentucky, but I live in the moment." And I always thought that was very funny and very, yeah, pretentious. Um, but
It's I love it.
but, but that's like, I mean, whenever I do theater, regular theater, um, or watch regular theater, a lot of times when it's not successful, it's because it's scripted and people are kind of just redoing things that they've learned over and over again 100 times to do, and it's really hard to make it surprising. And that's what I love about improv. I mean, that's really the only time that I think anything is funny is when it surprises me. You know, you have all the rules and everything, but I'm only doing a good job, and I'm only laughing when it's like when something surprises me. So that's what improv is to me, and that's why it always makes me happy to do it.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you on this on the surprising element because we see the scenarios all the time, very similar scenarios, and we're like, okay, we get it, this is happening. But when someone takes a chance where it's like, um, I hate to tell you this, but I'm turning into a werewolf, and the other person goes, "Yo, sick, that's awesome, that's tight." So like you can like howl at the moon and everything, like that's dope, bro. Like we expect someone to go, "Oh no, you're a werewolf," but like when they're like excited about it, like or it's like, I hate to tell you this, but I'm gonna die next week. Oh, dude, you know when you're gonna die? That's so cool. What? How do you what? Like changing that up, it's like surprising to the audience. So it's a little bit of a refreshing thing, even if sometimes it might not necessarily make the most sense for the
Yeah,
context of the story. But I think having something like that is really cool to engage in because it also gives the scene partner or whoever's in the scene a chance to come up with a new way of exploring this like very simple scenario between two people.
yeah.
Which also makes me think about the fact that you've done a lot of improv. Do you remember? Well, we always have those like shows where we're like, oh, "This was a really great show." We're like those shows where we're like, "Never want to talk about it again." I have a very hard time, honestly, remembering most of what I do in an improv scene. Even when it comes to like doing a herald and we have to call back a character, someone will put me on stage and like say something, and I'm like, "You want me to be this character?" And I don't even remember what character I'm supposed to be. What character? Give me a sign. What am I? How do you want me to respond to this? Tell me. I don't. I literally don't know who I'm supposed to be. I'm like, what character did I do 2 beats ago? I don't remember. Um, but have you ever had like a moment, whether it's like something like I would say something that's like really you did a show or you even saw a show and you're like, this moment was so good, it was so awesome that like I won't forget it. Have you ever had that moment either as a performer or as an audience member seeing a scene that like really like stuck with you?
Yeah. I mean, I would say anytime, uh, I'll give you a specific example, but I will say that for me, anytime where I get off stage and I'm like, I honestly like don't really totally remember what I just did. Like it's like something, I'm not a religious or a spiritual person, but it's like something took over and it wasn't, it was me, but it also there was something else like flowing through me, and while you're on stage, what's going on. You might forget, if especially in the Herald, long form improv, and that's when it's good to be in person because you can like whisper to your teammate and be like, "Hey, I'm about to come back on. What was I doing again?"
I assume
Um,
you just try on the chat and hope that they'll see you in the chat.
but but that's why I think, like, if you're on stage and you're really engaged in what's going on and in the audience too, then like in the moment you really know what's going on, and then you walk out and you're like, what just happened to me? And the same thing when you're watching a show, like the best things I've seen, they force you to just like actually watch and like you're
Yeah,
just encapsulated, and then you walk out and you're like, how was that? Like it's like an adrenaline rush for like, yeah. But my specific example that's coming to mind
yeah.
right now is, do you know the show, The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged?
Yeah, I did it during pandemic actually.
Oh, no way. In
We did
person?
Shakespeare Abridged revised, and the writers actually saw the playwrights saw our show digitally, and we changed some things up, and they said they're going to put it into the next installment. I'm like, yo, where my royalties at?
Dude, that is sick. That is
Yeah, we
awesome.
like, and we didn't have the audience interaction, so we had to improvise. So we did an improv scene instead of like the going into the audience kind of bits through live chatting. But anyway, back to your point with that show, you had something about it. So what were you going to say about
Yeah.
it?
I've done it twice. I did it in high school and I did it in college. We did it in
Who did you play?
both times I played the one that plays all the female roles.
Oh, Adam, you were Adam.
Adam. Yeah, yeah,
I did
yeah.
Daniel.
Daniel. Is he the one? Is he the bookie one, the book smart one? No.
He's the actor, the performer. He does he's the sword fighter, the other sword fighter in
Oh
that
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
He does like the intro of each act. That
Hmm.
guy.
Okay.
I can't remember. That was like that guy.
It's been a while. I mean, I did
Yeah,
it
I mean,
last.
I did it
Was
like a year ago, and I don't even
mm,
remember it. Or no, 2 years, 2 years ago. Oh wow, I did it 2 years ago.
I did it in 2013, so
Oh
eight.
geez.
Yeah. Um, but I just love Adam's when Adam does the Hamlet's "What a piece of work is man" speech, which I still
Yes.
use as an audition monologue because like it's crazy, it's crazy. There's all this stuff going on, and then it stops,
Mhm.
and he gives this speech, which I think is no one ever like talks about it, but I think it's the best speech in Hamlet, um, because it's so simple, but it's so charged with what's going on with Hamlet, but also just like how like unimportant we are. And both times I did it in high school. I did it up on a big stage, and we like all the lights went out, and there was just a spotlight on me, and I was just like very actually, well, I don't know, that's how I imagine it in my mind. We might have just left all the lights on, but I just love like that energy shift, and it's very surprising that this guy comes out and in the midst of all this chaos and hilarious stuff, he just comes out and gives this like very simple and straightforward speech. So I remember doing that very vividly, both times. Yeah. And it's
Awesome.
just like,
Also,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, even with that speech, like what I guess also going back to the whole surprising element is that the whole show, for those that don't know, Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged Revised, is that Shakespeare Abridged Revised.
It did it.
Is that Adam very much is like the goofy character who like doesn't take anything seriously, and then this speech is him literally not even going like, I'm going to give a speech now. He's like asking the question like who are we? What kind of piece of work is man? And he's like, can you believe all that? And then he starts going off in this like tangent, and then every time at the very end of the monologue, he's like, wait, hold on, that was like really good. Like, and the other two are like, yeah, well, where did that come from? Because it is surprising for not only the audience but for the characters as well,
Yeah.
is that they're living in that moment, and I think that that's a lot of what improv involves. Back to what your friend said, was like, I live in the moment. Is that I mean, it really is truly, when you have a conversation with someone else, you don't know what they're going to say until they say it. You could have an idea. Someone's like, oh, do you want any food? They might say yes or no, but they might go, blueberries are green. And you're like, what? Like, that's not what I was expecting from you. And so we can't, just like we can't expect conversations to go one way, we can't expect an improv scene to go one way. Now, if you play with someone like for a very long time, you kind of get a vibe of what the other performer or what the other players are kind of, how they kind of play, so you can kind of get an idea of where they might go with a scene, but you can never guarantee every move in a scene. I think that that's also kind of what Shakespeare Bridge Revised is actually a really good example of that, because I remember I had the whole speech down, the very beginning opening, like, welcome everyone to the show. It's going to be a great night, blah, 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 blah. We had a Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday afternoon show. And the Sunday afternoon, I was like, I'm not going to say good evening because it's a daytime. I'm going to say good afternoon because I'm so clever. And so I went, like, I was like, did my speech. I went, like, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this performance of the Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged Revised. We got a great show for you this evening. Yes, it's going to be a great show. I like forgot what I was supposed to say after that. Like after that completely, I just went, a very great show indeed. Mm-hmm. Yep, great stuff we're gonna have tonight. Uh huh. Yep. And I see my two other castmates. They're like literally like ready to like dive in because I was like, uh huh, and then I was like, oh, but before I forget, let's take a look at this set. And like I remembered it in the moment, but like it threw me off. I played it off very well, but it was just funny because I remember it now because it was, again, I surprised not only the audience didn't really get a surprise because it's like good afternoon, but it surprised me that I was like, ooh, this is going to be a great way to set up the show, and forget what I was supposed to say next because I said a different word that really didn't affect anything, but because I said it, it was like, whoa, this surprised me that it worked as well as I thought, that I forgot what was next. So I think it is an element of like when you're in a scene, like even surprising yourself is always fun because you never know what you're gonna do. Or it's like, I know how I want to respond to this scene that I think will make sense, but let me try and respond in a different way and just see like where it goes, because that you have that power in a scene when you're with a scene partner or whatever the case may be, is you have the power to like change it up on the fly, which is really what improv is you can go the way that you think it's going to go, or you can change it up, veer it around, and both of you can discover a new way to create a scene. And so I think that's what's really fun is being able to navigate through being in the moment, whether it's as an audience member or as a team, a person on stage performing. Which also leads me into another question that I have here, which is, a lot of people are like, I don't know why improv is going to be relevant for me. Like, I'm not an actor, I'm not a performer, but improv is very beneficial for everyday life. What would be an example that where you would say that you use improv like in your everyday life, outside of like performing and acting, where you feel like that could be a skill that you could have that you could use for every day?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking that whenever I teach improv, um, or whenever I'm coaching and and coaching people that are not experienced, especially, and maybe are scared to do it or they don't want to do it. And that's usually because they're scared of it and they're like, oh, I'm not good at that. And I always say, like, it's been a while since I've taught improv, but I always said that um, to those people, what do you do? What's the first thing that you do when you get up in the morning? Like, you don't have a choice about waking up. So your eyes open and then you immediately make a choice. You either stay in bed or you get up. That's all it is decisions. Then you get up and you go and you decide what you want to have for breakfast that morning. That's that's spontaneity. That's improv. The only difference is, like, some days you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then that's like, then you're kind of tripping up. That you don't want that in improv necessarily, unless if that's what you're feeling, then just go with it. You got to find whatever decision comes to you, just go with it. And so that's why I always say, like, when you're making eggs, like, you have to decide if you want scrambled, fried, over easy, on
The
toast.
other ones,
Like, it's all it is.
scramble or bust.
All it is making a choice. And actually, my favorite improv game is or one of my top favorite improv games is New Choice. When you're doing a scene and someone's the director and they, what it is.
Yeah.
If I
For
say,
those that
hey,
don't know, if you're watching the show, New Choice is essentially an improv game. Two people, three people. They're all doing a scene, and as it goes along, someone who is the director or whoever's hosting the game will go, new choice after someone's dialogue. So someone goes, oh, look at this cool puppy I just bought. New
New
choice.
Choice.
Wow, look at this cool guitar I just bought. New choice. Wow, I didn't buy anything because I'm a cheapskate. And then they don't say new choice, and then you go on with that. So you're essentially making a new choice on the fly that then navigates through the rest of the scene, that you change it around, and then you get a lot of those new choices. Sometimes you don't get a new choice. Sometimes you think you're going to get a new choice and you don't. Sometimes on the weirdest things, you might get a new choice, like, hey, everyone, new choice. Yo, what up? New choice. Bye. Like, you don't even know like what's going to happen from, and that's what also is surprising. Again, going back to surprise. But anyway,
Yeah.
continue on. I was just explaining for those who don't know what new choice is.
Yeah. Well, and I particularly like in New Choice when the new choice is at the end of the sentence and it's one thing, like, hey, let's go to Arby's, new choice, McDonald's. And like, you don't even get to say the rest of the sentence. You just have to go so fast. You have to be like, Arby's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, until you run out of breath and
Oh, yeah.
you run out of fast food options. I love that. I love that. What was I saying? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's
I don't know.
what
Make a new choice.
that's what I always tell people is, like, you make choices every day. Like, you're already spontaneous. You just have to breathe. And when you're, because when you're up on stage, it's harder. So you just have to breathe and stay in the moment and know that whatever you say, it doesn't matter. Whatever comes to you, as long as you're listening to your scene partner and helping them, then like whatever comes out is going to be gold because it's going to be a surprise, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of surprises, you already know this, so it's not really a surprise to you, but for the audience, do you have any? My segues are really wonderful. Do you have anything you want to plug or pitch?
Sure. I think we should plug the improv team that we're on.
Yep, it's always in the description and the
Okay, yeah.
question in
Queen
the script. You
is
can find it in the description down there in the where it is, where it is.
under the video, not down under my desk.
Like it's just scroll, you'll find it.
So yeah, Quest for the Missing Scripts, which is awesome. We need to record a new show so that I can be in
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
Have you seen my Super Size Me one?
I watched a couple. I don't. It was a
Did
while.
Super Size Me one week because I was like, that is one of my favorite movies, and we're gonna do a doc, and we're doing a Super Size Me, so it became Cher was the
Yeah,
celebrity. Cher was as a janitor who was going on her journey of eating clean for 30 days. It was wonderful.
I gotta watch that one. That sounds
It
good.
was.
I love
It
also
was great.
Super Size Me. I love that movie. Like
I am obsessed with that movie. I've seen it like 40 times. I own it on DVD. I love it.
it also
Super
makes
Size
me.
Me 2, Holy Chicken was also fun.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was fun. First one's better.
It makes me want McDonald's, but I love McDonald's.
It was
So
all. That's how it feels. Like I'm like I'll sit there and eat McDonald's while I watch it. But I remember when I introduced it, I was like, we are going to be doing tonight the Academy Award nominated movie, Super Size Me.
that's good. I gotta watch that one. That sounds good.
It was fun. Also, we did a Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which became Killer Cockatoos.
Nice.
It was great. Anyway, oh, Cry Wolf. We didn't do Cry Wolf yet. Anyways, oops, maybe we did. I don't remember. Anyway,
I don't know.
that's one of
So
my.
that'll be fun.
I don't remember if we did it or not. If we didn't, it was one of my movies on my list, but I think we did it already because no one's seen it. Anyway, that's a fun movie. Watch it.
I
Anyway,
don't think I've ever even heard of it. So
it came out like in theaters. It did really poorly in theaters, but it was only $1 million budget, so it made like 20 million. So it like did pretty well. John Bon Jovi's in it as the high school principal. Like, I mean, it's wild. And there's like a foreign exchange student who they're all in London or something. I think they're in London, but he's the foreign exchange student, the only one with an accent, and it's a British accent. So I was like, why is he the foreign exchange student? And this is not even from the city. It's so funny. It's like Oliver, but like not. But it's
uh-huh.
like a horror movie, like a
Okay.
slasher movie. It's wild. I
A
love it
lot
so
of
much.
things.
I love it. Anyway, continue.
And I guess if you want, you can go to my actor website, which is dylancrow.com. That's dylancrow.com.
.com. Great. That was a hearty laugh from me just now for nothing. Dylan, thank you so much for joining us here on the world famous Improv Summit. Wow, I almost started saying world famous studio tour.
World
I'm
famous
so used
studio
to,
tour.
I'm so used to it now. Thank you for joining us here today on the Improv Summit. As always, I said that was the last question I have for you, but of course, I'm a big fat liar, just like Paul Giamatti, which, by the way, I just watched that movie recently. It still holds up. And I actually have another question for you.
Yeah.
And my question is, we've talked a lot about improv. You want to do some improv?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're going to do some improv. Now, Dylan, as we know, improv is very vast. There's a lot of very specific suggestions that people give, the usuals, improv, pizza, pineapple, pickle, all those suggestions. What we want to do is play around with the suggestions. Sometimes we get audience suggestions that we don't really know what to do with. So I'm going to give us a very not specific suggestion and see if we can go off of that suggestion. So what I need from you is the answer to this question. Give me a number between 1 and 5.
4.
4, great. Okay, I'm going to drop this into the chat, and this is going to be our suggestion. So here it is.
This.
This is our suggestion. Is this? Who would you like to initiate this scene?
We picked that out of the crowd.
You never know. You never know what happens.
I guess I picked it. Sorry, what'd you say?
Who would you like to initiate this scene?
You.
Great. All right, let's do it. Thank you. Thank you. This. I feel like this one works.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it could work. Do you think it's the right size?
I guess. I guess it could maybe move to the side like this, and it can go in there.
Yeah. Oh, that's close. Is
I
it
guess I could just twist it a little bit more.
is the are the is the TV is this TV coming on? I Are you sure you wired it right?
No, I'm not sure I wired it right. I was just thinking we put a couple wires in and see what happens. Of course, I wired it right.
Well, I know that we've been working on this all day and we're tired and you forgot to have your coffee this morning. And I said that
We've we've
what?
been working on this all day.
Yes,
We've been
we've been
working on this all
working
day.
hard. I suggested that we stop at the coffee shop and get coffee on the way over here, but you said that you would be fine.
I need you to give me a laundry list of all the things you've done today so far, right up to this point in time.
Okay.
Where you've helped with this project specifically.
I picked the radio station in the car.
Not relevant.
I rolled my window down
Not relevant.
to, what do you mean not relevant?
Not relevant to the project we are currently working on. As far
I'm
as what
getting
your contribution to this little project is.
okay. I opened the door for you.
Not relevant. I mean, I guess like half relevant. I'll give you that. I did have a lot of stuff on my hands, but
Okay.
it's still. I think you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, you're
Your
very
actual contribution to this project.
you're very cranky today, and I feel like you're kind of putting all that on me.
I'm not
And so
cranky. I'm in a great mood.
I'm feeling a lot of hostility coming from you, coming
Would you like
just
to help me with this project?
in general, and I feel like that is a big contribution on my end.
What, taking the
Over,
hostility that I have bent up inside?
look, I'm chilled out, and I feel like
I'm
I'm
chill too. I can be chill. I can be chill.
uh-huh.
Watch,
Yeah.
here's me being chill. Do some work.
Here's the thing. Um, I I'm making sure that I'm watching the TV to see if it comes on. So that's a big, I mean, do you want to switch? Because this is a big job. I don't know if you can handle the responsibility.
Yeah, I
You know,
actually would love to switch.
you have to really be watching. You can't
Yeah,
be
let's
like
switch.
thinking about, other things like,
Yeah, we can switch. That's fine.
okay, all right, let's switch.
Why
I'll
don't you
do,
duck behind the TV and do the wires, and I'll sit here and drink my beer and drink some soda and eat my chips while I watch to make sure it works.
okay, all right. I'll take a look at your wiring job and see if it's up to code, because
Great.
that's what we're doing now. We're just switching our positions. Okay, all right. No, that's
All right.
cool. I can do
Yeah.
this. I can
Go ahead.
do it.
All right.
I can do
Go
it.
ahead.
And I
Go
did
ahead. I'll
it.
watch the TV.
Okay, you watch the TV, see if it comes on, and I
Yep.
will.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna walk over here to where you were standing,
Yep.
and I'm
Awkwardly
gonna
bend over there because that's what I was doing, like one half knee up, half knee down.
yeah, one half knee up, one half knee
Let me
down.
know. Let me know once you put the wire in there.
Well, first I have to look at the wires that you already put in there and see if you did it correctly.
Yeah, I'm watching the TV. Go ahead.
Okay. And the TV will, if it comes on, then something will be playing on it.
Right. I understand.
And if that doesn't happen, then that means that your wiring, was
Right.
bad.
I understand. Yeah, we're good. Go ahead. Go ahead. Start.
you know. I mean, really, okay, so really, what's the difference between me doing nothing and you doing the job not well? What there, that's a very thin
Well,
line.
maybe you've got a little bit more of agile hands. Maybe you should just see maybe you can cod a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will pick up the uh I'm gonna use this.
Why don't you just tweak the wires real quick?
Yeah, this is yeah, I'm checking the wires. That's what I'm doing. So this hole in the wall where you've redone the wires here, um, and this thing, if you measure the, is that
Wait,
that
hold
is
on. The TV's on. Hold on. Don't move. The TV's
wait,
on. Don't move. Don't move. The TV's on. Yeah, this works. This is great. Stay there. Stay there.
okay.
So
Can
this is exciting. Yeah, this is great. I think this will work out really well. This is a nice TV, by the way.
um okay, well, I'm gonna come over and
No,
then we
don't move. Don't move. We got it working. Don't move. If you move, it's just not going to work.
okay, so I'll stay here and
Yeah, sounds great.
okay, but
Good
I
show. This is a fun show.
what are you watching?
What's your favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah,
Guys grocery games?
yeah. That's literally what I'm watching right now. It's funny. This is a new
Oh,
episode too. I don't think you've seen this one.
what's happening? What's happening? Describe it.
Oh, the usual. There's just some games happening at the grocery store.
Uh-huh. Are they getting lots of groceries in there?
This is the
Okay.
important part. Shh, don't talk.
Can you turn it up?
Oh no, I'm watching it with the captions on.
Oh, can you turn it up?
No, I don't like the sound. I'm just gonna watch with captions.
Oh, okay. It's just, if I can't see it, I'd like to see it. What's funny? What happened? What happened? Hey, okay, you know what? I'm coming over there.
Wait, it's gone.
What? Where'd it
All
go?
right, see. Thanks ever so much for coming to the Improv Summit. As always, I'm your host Spencer. That's Dylan. See you next time. Bye.
Okay.